flipped classrooms, if you will. And I'm not sure if you remember Susan, but she was talking about this particular speaker, what had inspired her, to start to do this. And what had inspired her is that she had seen some, believe it or not, brainwave sonograms that had been done for somebody who had been tracked through all the different activities that go on from the day-to-day, life of this person. And what they discovered for this particular person who was a student is that the lowest brainwave activity that occurred in this person was during classroom lecture time. So when they were out socializing or, any other, in a laboratory, any other kind of activity, sleeping included, brainwave activity actually increased more for these students, So when I look at the success of this program, at least for me and how I view it, it has been this incredible integration of the co-curricular with the curricular and the extracurricular with the curricular and the co-curricular. I remember the first one, on Italy, and although I wasn't involved in that one, over the years I began to be more and more drawn to these, and their success has to do with, I think, this thing we've been talking about, high impact practices on campus and the way in which we find another way to interact with people over these topics. And I don't know about you, but my brainwaves were going pretty high here with the drums and keeping my distance from the swords and so forth here a little while ago. But to make something like this work, something as innovative as this, you need a lot of people working on it intensely, honestly, holistically, to make this kind of thing work. And I'm going to let the president here in a minute do some recognition of those types of folks. But I just wanted to say that one of the original nurturer of all this, as has been mentioned, is President Betts when he was a provost in the job that I'm in now. And so that initial germination of this process, along with the efforts of Carla and others who began this, really has led now to this bearing of fruit. I mean, who would question the role on this campus, right, of Passport now? The only thing I question about it is that eventually you're going to run out of countries, right? So do you start over again? But that's probably a ways off, and I shouldn't focus on that too much. Well, with that, I'd like to introduce one of the true innovators of this program and many other such programs on our campus over the years, and it's a delight to see President Betts come back. And I'm sure it is for him too to see the fruits of that labor. So, Dr. President Betts.
Thanks a lot. John, I'm thinking about all those lectures I didn't sleep through, and probably should have been sleeping, right? Been value added, right? Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. Very short comments from me. I absolutely love this program for reasons that should be fairly obvious. Thinking back on the very first one in Italy, I don't know what the exact decision-making process was, but I spent a year in Italy as a student, and that really colored my time, and the good people in liberal arts were kind enough to invite me over during that year to make a presentation on contemporary Italy and the global society, and I really appreciate it. And then all of you that have made it possible. I think the whole notion was from the beginning, as John had mentioned, is that the desire would be that our students would have international experiences who could not, in fact, leave their life here. And it would be only through the amazing combination of talent and focus and motivation on the part of the faculty and staff that would happen. And from this little seed, this wonderful oak tree has grown. I don't think we're in a round of countries. I think we're doing pretty well in every round. But I love, the other day someone came by and brought me my passport, and I love the idea that we stamp it up and people get a chance to participate and continue to nurture this opportunity. Each year you have to kind of revitalize it, and I think that's what happens. But along the way, so many people have played so many roles, and obviously she's already been mentioned once today, but Dr. Pat McGrow in academic affairs has been a stalwart from the beginning of this thing, and I also know that apparently they go to her often for the money. So, Dr. McGrow, Pat, thank you for what you've done. And Dr. Gary Stewart is the Dean of College of Liberal Arts. Obviously, this is a program that has tentacles that reaches to every college and every facet of the institution, but College of Liberal Arts continues to be such a mainstay, and we appreciate you very much. Where he's right there. Thank you very much. Over the last several years, however, someone had to step up and say, okay, we all love it, it's wonderful, but who's going to make sure the proverbial trains run on time? Who's going to nurture those various germs of creativity and imagination that pop out in 100 different ways. That's the great wonder about being around here. And for the last 6 years, there's one person who's been a focal point for this work, and she needs a little introduction if you ever saw her active and involved in the work that she does. But I get the honor and you get the opportunity to say thank you publicly for the work that she's done in nurturing this wonderful UCO passport program, Dr. Susan Spencer. Would you come forward? We'll get a change. Strike the plaque and put in the 6. And now does this go back to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the D.
Thank you, President Betts. Well, this actually concludes our program for today. We have plenty of refreshments. We're honored that you have taken some of your time today to celebrate some of our accomplishments in Passport, as well as looking to the future. Thank you so much. We'll see you this year, Passport Japan.